Hey guys, Char97 again. This time a review of the Armor 44 scale high-grade Universal Century Zaku 2 Commander type. Char's Custom, aka the Red Comet, from the first Gundam series. And for colors, well, the pink seems to be pretty good. We have a very nice salmon pink going on. We have black for the feet, the kneecaps, and that's about, oh yeah, of course also the elbow pads here. Then we have nice red for the backpack. And we also have some black going on behind the mono eye. We have gray, very dark gray for the joints, the weapons. But then the one thing that's not real as color accurate is the brown here. Seems like they made a similar mistake in the past as with the Rosen Zulu. And yeah, this should be a very dark burgundy, not a brown color. It's the Red Comet for a reason, he's not the brown comet. So yeah, that's a bit unfortunate. Really would have been a lot better if it was burgundy like all the other models or like it was in the anime. But moving on to stickers, we only have one, and that is because we only need one for the mono eye. Other than that, he's, well, I would say completely color accurate, but of course we still have that brown, which should have been burgundy. But then let's make it all better with articulation. The head goes up until it disconnects, so it goes up about that far, and that's when it pops off. Well, down, not really a lot. It turns around all the way. Just gotta be careful that you don't pop off the head. So also on a ball joint, so we'll wiggle around, turn around, do everything a ball joint does. Then chicken movement backwards and forwards. The mono eye will move side to side, but the scalp is really difficult to remove. Unlike the more modern Zakus, there is no lever here that you can easily, well, push aside with a toothpick, nor is the mono eye itself molded in there. It's just a sticker you put on there, so you can't grab a toothpick and push it around either. You're just gonna push the sticker. So while the mono eye is movable, it is a pain to get it to move. Then arms rotate around all the way, go up about that far, and then the shield here is on a ball joint, so that will rotate around in order to get out of the way to get full upwards movement, and will then of course also somewhat jiggle around. The arms go up that far, then the shield here is on a hinge and also allows full movement. That's always one of the killing points on the Zakus, when the shield here hinders the movement. So good job there. And another great thing on the Zaku, forwards movement really far. That's really great. Then unfortunately only one elbow joint, and the hand will wiggle around, turn around, and do everything a ball joint does. No waist movement, but it is a Zaku. It would have been difficult. Even if it had a joint, it would have been able to move that much anyway with the hoses. So it's forgivable since it is a Zaku. Front skirts molded together, go up about that far. And the legs go forwards really nicely and backwards about that far. Not a lot, but we do of course have that quite big back skirt. So, and there goes one of the kneecaps. Legs go out that far. Once again, not too bad. They will rotate around a bit on that ball joint. The legs are double jointed. That's about, that is about as far as we're going to get without the leg disconnecting. So that's definitely not too bad. And he can pull, if he doesn't lose his legs, pull off a get in there and stay in there. So if the legs stay together, he can pull off a semi-decent crouching pose. There. It's not the greatest crouching pose, but for its time, that was really amazing. And then with the feet, just gotta make sure the knee doesn't fall off again, the entire lower leg. Then the feet are really nice articulated. They have those typical crazy Zaku foot joints. So go forward all the way like that. We have a hinge at the top. Then there's another peg in there, so technically this can also rotate around. Not sure why you'd want to do it like this, but you can do it. Then the foot is in there with a ball joint, and then that joint will once again move backwards and forward. So there's a lot of moving going on here. You can make some crazy poses with that. So we'll have it normal again. We'll rotate, we'll go side to side about that far, then we'll also rotate all the way around if you want to do that for some reason. And then let's push that back in there and have a look at the accessories. We get the typical Zaku accessories, but what isn't so typical is that we're getting 2 trigger fingers. So that's really, really awesome. Always love it when I do this. Get a left trigger finger hand and a right trigger finger hand. So the bazooka has some articulation. The handle here goes up and down. Scope also goes up and down. Unfortunately, not the handle itself. And as you can see, it is quite loose in his hand. There's no way to get it more solid. But, of course, when you put it in here and you rest it against the shoulder like it should, it's not going to flail around anymore because you have, well, it's support against the shoulder, so that will kind of jam it in place and it's not going to flail around anymore. Or you can, of course, do the under the elbow pose and then it will once again be jammed in there and it's not going to flail around either. So while it is floppy, technically, once you put it on there, it's going to be very good. And you can, of course, hold it with both hands, partly thanks to those great shoulder joints. So that's really nice. Then the Zaku machine gun has a movable handle and a movable scope, and you can also remove the ammo pack, though unfortunately there's no place on the Zaku to store the ammo pack, neither do we get any spares. So we just pop out the hand and put this in. There we go. And just as with the Zaku bazooka, you can very easily have him hold it with both hands in any pose you want. So that is once again really nice. It's really good attention to detail there. Then the final accessory he comes with is the heat hawk, and the good news is he can hold on to the heat hawk, but you kinda gotta find the sweet spot. There's this one spot on the hand, there we go, I just found it, where the heat hawk will be really solid. As you can see, it's not flying around anywhere, but when you then just as much as nudge it, it's gonna be flailing around again. So gotta find the sweet spot, but when you do, it's gonna be in there really good. Unfortunately, you can only hold it upright like this, not in a more action pose like this, because then it's once again gonna flail around, unfortunately. And then we also get the holder, just slide it in there, open up the arm and put it on the side. Good. And there's another hole on the other side, so you could technically also put it there. Oop, there it goes. Now you get here. So you could technically have him hold 2 of those heat hawks if you buy another Zaku model. Talking about holders, these are all the accessories, but there's still one more thing you can do with the Zaku bazooka, and that is if you can open up this panel, which isn't that easy to do. Almost. Oof, I really thought I was gonna have to do a jump cut, because usually that is a very big pain to open up. Then you just remove the hand, make sure that the scope's folded up, and put it on there. It's not the strongest connection, and when it's on there, you gotta be really careful, but it will stay on there. So if you don't touch it, it won't go anywhere, but the slightest touch and that thing's gonna fly off. But it's still nice that they did that, so that's really cool. As always, the inevitable question is, do you want to buy this? Yes, but also no. And let's start off with the good things first. So the articulation was fantastic for its time, and it still holds up today. The articulation is really nice. We have great movement in shoulders. Those knees are also really good. The arms, well, are a bit disappointing, but that was pretty much the standard at the time and still seems to be today for example, the Unicorn series. So that's really great. Then, of course, you get 2 trigger finger hands, which is always awesome and something a lot more kids should be doing. But then with accessories, we're getting in more, well, questionable territory. Because first of all, I have to say, he comes with all the accessories he should come with. It's not like we should have gotten anything more, but when we compare him to the normal Zaku, just gonna bring in this one here, they are the same price, Char Zaku and the normal Zaku 2, and they come with almost the exact same accessories. The thing is, Char Zaku 2, of course, comes with a commander antenna, whereas the normal Zaku comes with 2 of these missile pods. So it's not like Char Zaku 2 doesn't do good on the accessories front. It's just that the normal Zaku 2 offers more for the same price. So that's really the only complaint I have here. Maybe Char Zaku should have been a tad cheaper, maybe like 900 yen or 950 yen. I mean, I know it's kind of nitpicking, but I think it would have been better if Char Zaku was a bit cheaper, maybe in comparison with the normal Zaku 2. And then the final thing I have to, well, kind of the final thing is, of course, the color scheme. Well, overall it's very good, but that dark brown should have been dark burgundy. And finally, maybe another reason you might not want to pick this up yet is, well, we did get the new Char's kind of custom, the amazing Zaku, and who knows, maybe they will do the same thing as with the Wing Gundam Fenice and Build Strike Gundam. First we get the Build Fighters version, and then we get a redesigned high grade, like they did with the Strike. Well, they technically only did it with the Strike because we didn't have a high grade Wing Gundam yet, but we might just get that. And then really the final thing why you might not want to pick this up is we have a lot of different options to get Char's Zaku 2. Be it in 144 scale, or in 100 scale, or even in 160 scale, or even in 148 scale. And, well, out of all those options, I would have to say that this is kind of the least desirable option. I mean, there's even this very hard to find 1/100 44 scale hybrid, which was only released in America and maybe in Europe. Not too sure if we got it over here, but definitely the one in America. The remold of the MS Team one, which definitely looks better than this. So that's kind of what it boils down to. If you really want a 1/44 scale of Char Zaku that really looks great, you might want to go with the real grade. But if you prefer high grades like I do in 1/44 scale, this is still worth a pickup for 1,000 yen. We get a lot of accessories, all the accessories you want. We get nice articulation. So if you really gotta have anime accuracy, just do a bit of paint touch-ups and this thing will be very, very nice. And it still holds up very well today. So final thing to do now is some size comparisons. Let's put them next to the other Zaku 2s I've already shown in the video. Here we have the Eco Plot and the Gundam Breaker version. Then next to 2 much better looking Zakus, the old Zaku 2 and the high grade Zaku 1, the Black Tristar version. And man, these 2 are much better looking than Char's Zaku, unfortunately for Char. Up next are his 2 BFFs. We have the Gundam with Amuro and Garma's Zaku 2 here. And well, don't these 3 look so happy together? And finally, let's put him next to 2 more kick-ass Zakus. We have Johnny Raiden Zaku 2 High Mobility Type R2 and the Zaku 3. And this really kind of shows my point. It's not that Char Zaku is bad per se, but there are so much other options out there that are much better. Unfortunately, than Char's Zaku 2. Well, that's all for this review, and see you guys next time.